everybody. Welcome to the Lonely Sluts podcast. My name's Claire.
And I'm Sarah.
And this episode is called All My Friends Are Married. Because y'all, all my friends are getting married. I was scrolling through Facebook the other day where I swear every post, not every post, but like every third post was a proposal or like wedding pictures or wedding rings or I bought a wedding dress. And I'm like, good God, y'all, do you have any hobbies?
That is a hobby. That is a hobby. An engagement, I feel like, is your hobby for about a year.
Yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to play a game, Sarah, if you're down. We should pull
Always
up
down for games.
we should pull up our Facebook app and we should scroll through our newsfeed, and whoever sees a post about weddings or something having to do with that, whoever sees a post first wins. Ready?
I think, yeah, okay. And the next time, I think what we win should be someone buys the other a drink the next time that we get to hang out.
Oh, we can do that now. Okay. So whoever wins, the other person has to buy them a drink.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have to keep track of this. Okay. Are you scrolling?
I am now.
Okay. See, I feel like on Sunday when I was doing this, it was really fast. But now that there's something on the line, I'm not going to have any...
I know. I'm like, gosh, there's so many memes.
Well, today is Mardi Gras. So we're recording this on Mardi Gras. So there's a ton of Mardi Gras posts. And I'm like, but what about the weddings?
I know. I will say there's been a lot of baby stuff as
Yeah, I
well.
just had a
lot of
baby announcement.
pregnancy. Yeah. I just
Hmm.
need to... And I know people who just got engaged.
Oh, found it. Done.
Damn it.
Yeah.
You always win this thing.
So it's this girl, Megan, who I went to. I wasn't like good friends with her or anything, but she got married to, she was in my high school and she got married to this guy named Zach, who also went to my high school. And this is pictures of her wedding, which was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Damn it.
I was worried that I was. Oh, and here's another one down here. My friend Lauren was a bridesmaid.
You don't get bonus points.
I'm just saying that, like, I'm not lying. All my friends are getting married. And on top of just the social media stuff, I have so many physical marriage announcements.
I have a few too. I have an engagement party announcement, and I feel like I don't get those as often anymore. So that was kind of cool. It was really pretty looking. They decorated it really nicely.
Do you have to bring a gift to the engagement party?
I couldn't go to this because it was out of state, and I had work. But I don't even know. I feel like I would definitely would have had to look that up and ask other people who've been to one because I've never been to one before. And I kind of wanted to go, but oh well.
My friend Savannah, she got married to Joe, who is now her husband. And they got married in Utah. So it wasn't an engagement party. It was like a second wedding reception in Charleston.
Oh.
And so I brought a gift to that, but that was like the wedding thing. But I haven't been to pre-marriage parties. But in the past year, I've been to 3 weddings, counting that party thing, for people I know. And I have 3 weddings coming up. I have 3 save the dates on my fridge right now. Well, they're actually in my hand, but they were on my fridge.
I have 2 physical ones, and then one they haven't sent them out, but I know it's going to be in June. But one of the save the dates was actually a magnet itself, and so I didn't even have to use a magnet. And I was like, huh, you guys thought ahead.
I've had to use all my magnets. I'm going to put some smoothie recipes on my fridge too to go along with my save the dates. But yeah, so I feel like all these are coming up pretty soon. I have my friend Tori from high school. She's getting married this summer. And then on September 1st, we have a mutual friend who's getting married. Tyler and Madeline are mutual friends. We know both of them. We're friends with both of them. And then my cousin Chelsea's getting married on my birthday this coming year, which I have mixed feelings about.
I'd have bad feelings. They wouldn't even be mixed. I'd have bad feelings.
No, they're bad, but I'm like excited. Like, she's been dating this guy since they were in high school. And he's cool, and I like them, and I think it's going to be a really fun party, and I think it's going to be a pretty wedding. But it's not my birthday, and I'm annoyed. They did not.
And it's not like she doesn't know when your birthday is either. Like, I feel like they could have just done the next. I mean, I don't know. I guess a lot of planning goes into that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh well, but yeah, I'll be at a wedding on my birthday this year, but at least there'll be free alcohol. But I'll be with my dad. I don't know. It'll be
And
fine.
family.
Yeah, my whole family. But they're my fun cousins, so it'll be a good time.
I love hanging out with. I have fun cousins too. They're all married, but they're still fun. So
Yeah, my fun cousins. Well, not all of them. I have 2 other cousins on that side, but one of them's getting married. But it'll be a fun cousin wedding. So there's that. But yeah, like you send out these physical save the dates, and then you have to send out a physical wedding invite. And that's just, I feel like, a lot of paper, you know?
Yeah, you just explained that to me. I was very confused because I was asking you, I was like, where do I RSVP? Where do I send this stuff in? Like, I need more information. And you were like, no, you're going to get another one. And I was like, that's so much postage. That's so much postage.
It's just an excuse to send a pretty picture of yourself to all your friends. You say, hey, y'all, look at me and my beautiful fiance. Aren't we good looking? Put me on your fridge. And then you send another card that doesn't really have pictures most of the time with a pretty font, and it's got the date and the time and the venue and the dress code and if you get a +1 or not, which is the real question everybody wants to know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be a +1 for my friend later this month to a wedding for one of her friends, so that'll be fun.
I will say a lot of the weddings that I've been to recently have been family, so I haven't really, like, I don't know, it's just been me and my entire family, so I haven't really felt the need to bring a +1.
I brought a +1 to my old roommate's wedding. I brought Kayla, and that was fun. This is another thing. At all these weddings I went to in the past year, the demographic, it was all like old people, which is not what I was expecting. That's not what the media tells you these weddings are going to be like. It's like me, my friend who's getting married, and then like 5 other people who I already know who are like in their 20s. And then everybody else is like family. And I guess that's because they're not having a huge wedding because weddings are like crazy expensive. But I feel like I would have way more
people my age.
Yeah, like not like more friends. I would invite more friends to my wedding if I were to get married, because I feel like it's supposed to be a party, you know?
I know. I definitely don't envision myself ever having this huge blowout wedding. I think I would spend it all on the reception. Like I would probably do something super chill and like no one there for the actual ceremony.
Yeah, just do
I
it.
know. Everyone's like, can we skip the ceremony and just go to the party? Yes, you can. For my non-existent wedding, you can do
Sarah
that.
And I marry each other, we're going to have a private ceremony and then a huge party.
It's going to be great. But yeah, no, I actually like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people dream about this day for so long. I don't know. At least that's something that's always pushed. Like that's the narrative that's always pushed is like little girls always dream about their weddings and like what their many people are going to be there and where it's going to be. And I'm like, I actually never really did that. I never thought about what it was going to be like, except I will say recently I have started thinking about what song I would use as the first dance. But that's just because I really like music and I want to pick so Groovy Kind of Love because I've been watching the Phil Collins version because I've been watching a lot of New Girl. I love the song I Love You for Sentimental Reasons by Nat King Cole.
That's a good one.
And Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer.
I do that.
I love that song. I love that song so much. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's my top played song in iTunes right now, and I have no shame. I love that song.
So good. I do not have like a fantasy wedding plan. I have put a lot of thought into my dress because in college particularly, I watched so much Say Yes to the Dress that I have formed some pretty strong opinions. But that's not really that's not wedding necessarily. It's just fashion.
You're like, I just want to look nice one day.
I want to look nice every day, and yeah. So that's the only thing I've like put any thought into. Because anytime I start thinking about like what I would like to do, I think, oh, if I do get married, I will get married to another person, and they will probably have opinions. So I'll talk to them about this.
That makes sense because I definitely wouldn't want to be the one in charge of all the decisions. A, I'm incredibly indecisive, so that would just give me a lot of anxiety. But B, I'd be like, you know what? They might also hate this color or like they might really like this one thing and they want this to be there and I'm just going to let them do that.
I'm too decisive. Like I could make a bunch of executive decisions, but that's
why we're going to be a great couple together, but
that's why I don't think about it, because I'm like, if I put any thought into this and I get a thought into my head and then one day I do get married to a man with opinions, different, and he'll be like, oh, I actually hate those flowers or that color, I would be like, I would lose my mind and it would be a problem.
Like, and the wedding is off. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a great run, but I love these flowers, so
Yeah,
we
you're
gotta
like,
go.
oh, sorry, I love these flowers more than you. It'd be difficult. So that's a situation that I don't want to put myself in. But I feel like I've helped plan a lot of weddings. Like my coworkers are getting married, and I have got like helped them plan their weddings. And I worked in a wedding venue as part of my job for like one wedding season. Like I was working in that position for like 8 months, and so I saw one fall wedding season, and so I got a lot of opinions on like wedding decor and like that kind of stuff from there. But weddings are hella expensive. They're so expensive.
Yeah. I remember my dad once, we were at a family member's wedding and he told me, he was like, if you just want to elope, he's like, I will give you some money to just elope, but I really don't want you to do this huge big blowout wedding. And I was like, that's fine by me.
If I had somebody I loved right now, I wouldn't want to get married because I can't afford the wedding I want. I'm not going to get married until I can have the party I deserve.
Yeah, I do want to have a big party though. I will say that.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah. What's the point if you don't have a big party?
It's like a birthday party, but even better.
Ooh, I'm here for kitchen appliances and dancing. That's what I need. I just need a registry.
Yeah, I think I just want to get stuff.
Yeah,
I think I just want presents.
But okay, so weddings are insanely expensive, and I have done a little bit of research because I'm a bitch who loves research. And this is all from Business Insider, and it talks about the average cost of a wedding in America. And it says the average cost of a wedding in America is over $30,000. But, well, no, that's fine. Okay, so on average, the bride's family contributes 45% of the wedding budget. The bride and groom contribute 41%, and the groom's parents contribute 13%. In my understanding of like traditions, the bride's family pays for the wedding, and then the groom's family pays for the honeymoon, is what I thought.
I did hear that the bride's family pays for the wedding, but I've also been around a few couples that they basically paid for everything themselves, and then they got a little bit of support from their parents. And so I feel like that's also becoming a thing as well.
Now that, like women aren't objects and stuff.
Yeah, and the economy shit.
Yeah, parents aren't the whole wedding, which is fine and fair. Emphasizes the point where I don't want to get married now. Also, my friends can't get me the presents I want right now.
That is true.
Kitchen stuff.
I need to wait till I'm older, so my friends are older, so we're all more settled in our jobs, and you throw that I want.
Yes. The kitchen mixer you deserve.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you guess where they cost the most money?
California?
Nope. Other coast.
New York?
Yes. In Manhattan, the average wedding goes for $76,944.
I just choked on my wine. Oh my God. That's more than I don't want to say how much more that I make in a year, but
oh yeah, no.
Oh
God, almost double.
Like multiple times over.
So in California, in LA, it's listed as 44,142, which like feels way reasonable after you've heard that.
I know. After you hear that other number, you're like, oh yeah, I could do that. I could do a wedding for that much.
Any day. Yeah. You're like, wait, no, just kidding. That's salary. Yeah. So the average wedding cost is, it said over 30,000, but it is exactly 33,391. But it varies greatly. The lowest average is in New Mexico, and that's 17,584. So you're probably going to spend more than 17,000. You're going to spend around $30,000 on your wedding.
I wonder,
just bananas.
If that's because of like the cost of living and how much things cost necessarily in New Mexico, or if that's just like the culture, like they're just like, no, we just don't go all out here. I don't know. We're reasonable folk in New Mexico.
Nah, I bet like a venue in New Mexico isn't
probably a lot cheaper than in other states. That makes sense too. Yeah, no, I mean, if I didn't go to my own prom because I thought that was too costly and like just kind of like, I didn't. I never went to prom junior or senior because I was like, I'm never going to wear these dresses again. I don't need to do any of this stuff. It doesn't sound fun. It sounds like a waste of money. The tickets are expensive. And I watched horror movies with my mom instead. So
I live for drama. So of course I went to prom. My junior prom sucked, but my senior prom was worth it. I really liked the guy I went with. things were kind of weird after, but it was fine. I don't regret it. And I looked banging. I looked the best I had ever at that point in my life at senior prom.
I will say it's half of me thinking that it's like stupid and a waste of money and stuff. And then the other half is like, I didn't have anyone to go with. I was an awkward like 17-year-old girl. Like that was definitely part of it.
I had nobody to go. Well, junior year, I asked this one guy who I kind of had a crush on, but I asked him as friends because I went to the arts high school. So there's like 4 dudes total. And they're already taken as soon as like day 1. So I had to look outside of my school. So I asked this guy as a friend, and he said no because he was like and trying to get involved with this other girl, and he didn't want to like complicate things. And I was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. But I was actually like, oh no, wait, I love you. But I didn't, because I was not cool. So I asked the guy, or Jaime, who is my 8th grade boyfriend. And he was like, yeah, cool. Do you also want to be my prom date? And I was like, yeah, cool. So he went to my prom and I went to his prom. We went to different schools. And it was a convenience arrangement. We were like, yeah, that's a member of the opposite sex who was alive and not looking like a potato. They can come with me. And we like did not hang out at either prom. And the after prom was weird for that. But senior year, I was like stressing out. I was like, who am I going to ask? Jaime was a shit date last year. But I was like kind of talking to this guy, but in true me fashion, I didn't want to like get my hopes up. But he asked me, and I had a great time, and the pictures are so cute, and I seen it
better than expected.
Oh, yeah, it was nice. It was a nice time, and I still have my senior prom dress, and I can still fit in it. So if anybody wants to go to a formal event, I have a great black dress that I still like that I can wear.
Oh, wow. I could definitely not fit into anything that I wore in high school. Like, if you just watched me over time, it's like hands start touching each other and then hands just slowly get further and further apart.
Because I was never skinny. Like, I've literally been this size since forever, so.
I know. It is weird being, like, having been, like, what people consider skinny and then not being it, but I don't know. I like how I am now, so that's fine.
No, but I've literally been this size since forever. I have shoes that I've had in 7th grade. Like, probably since I was 14, I've been this size. Which means I was huge when I was 14. Whatever.
Oh. Let's see. Yeah, no. We definitely aren't getting married anytime soon, but our friends are for sure.
Yeah.
And it's a weird feeling. Like,
yeah, I talked about this a little bit, but I just don't feel like I'm at a place in my life, even if I had somebody who I like wanted to get married to, where I felt like it'd be time to get married. There's so much more life. What's the rush, man?
I think my thing is I'm not necessarily jealous of being in a relationship or anything like that.
I am.
I think I'm more jealous of like where they're at in their life, if that makes sense. Like, I'm jealous that they seem to be in like a good enough place to be settling down and like with someone they love and all that stuff. And I'm like, may I have some of that, please? I would like an order of stability with a side of committed relationship. No sauce. Let's make it to go. Like, can I have that?
No, I don't know. No, it's the relationship part I'm jealous of. For sure.
No, I think I envy stability, in all honesty. I mean, like, being in a relationship, that would be hella sweet, but like feeling where you're in a place.
Being in a relationship, that'd be hella sweet.
I won't say no, but
I would. That's why I'm single at the point.
I mean, oh yeah.
But I have, and that's why I've been single.
But yeah, no, I mainly just want to feel like I can like make moves in my life and like I have enough stability to go from one step to the other. But honestly, if I were to get married at all, I really couldn't see myself getting married now or younger than now, because I feel like every year of my life, I've looked back on the previous year and been like, wow, she was such a twerp. Like, what was she doing?
Looking at Saturday night, like, wow, she was such a twerp. What was she doing?
I know, like, and I feel like until that slows down a bit, maybe I
will slow down.
I do think that it will slow down, because from 18 to 19 and like 20, like those years, I feel like it was like a week to week or month to month basis where I was like, wow, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I was 4 weeks ago. Like, I don't know what's going on. But at least at this point, I don't know. I still look back on the years previous and I'm like, wow, what a lame ass nerd. Like, what was she doing? She doesn't know what she's doing. But it slowed down a little bit. And so I feel like by the time I hit like 25, 26, 27, I'll be like, okay, she's she's gotten a little bit better about who she is as a person.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been okay. So I found some old emails from when I was in literal middle school. Um, Leanne and I were going through her old AIM stuff because we sit in. She's been my best friend since like first grade, and she went to a different school in middle school. So all we did was AIM like every day, and we went through some of her old instant messenger stuff before AOL deleted it because we somehow found a backlog.
Mhm.
And I've been the same person. I've been the same size and I've had the same mindset since I was 14. What does that mean for me now? I don't know. I think I was just a very mature, if not maybe a little bit jaded 14-year-old. But the same stuff. I wish I could remember what it was exactly. It was like the guy was going out with the guy who I took to prom. We were dating for like 3 whole weeks. It was a big deal. God, I had like we were sitting in art class and I had like put my knee like by his knee and he like moved away really fast and he had like also in a separate interaction had texted me that he loved me and in this
Wow.
yeah, I know. And in this because who doesn't love me? In this AIM message with Leanne, I was like what? He doesn't love me. Why would he say he loves me? He doesn't even want to touch my knee. What kind of boy is this? And that sounds like something that I would say like present tense. I'd be like, he doesn't love me. He's lying to me and himself. And like, I was like, he doesn't know what love is. And that's like what like 14-year-old Claire was saying. And that's what 24-year-old Claire is saying. He doesn't love me. He's lying.
I have I have 2 things. One, I love that you say AIM instead of AIM because I always just said AIM.
Well, you're
up.
right. Everybody else says AIM, but the way I've read it in my brain was as an acronym and not like a word. Like the initials stand for AOL Instant Messenger, so AIM. But yeah, no, everyone else
That's
says
like
AIM.
how yeah, like I used to say SIM card instead of SIM card and I don't know why. Like I was like, "Oh no, it's definitely SIM card." And I'd get to the store and they'd be like, "Oh, do you have your SIM card with you?" And I was
You're
like,
"No, but I have
SIM card."
my SIM card."
But the other thing was
a different word, SIM.
um,
Sorry, go ahead.
we're really setting ourselves up to be like an odd couple comedy show because
Wait, we're not?
every time well in the first episode we're like we're basically the same person and now we're like oh no we're so different.
It just depends. Our humor is the same, but
yeah, our humor is the same, but I feel like I'm a very indecisive whirlwind of a person that's always changing and has definitely gotten fatter since middle school. And you and you stayed the same. You have not gotten fatter since middle school.
I have gotten a little bit bigger since middle school, but like, I mean, not significantly.
I mean, like your bones have grown, but
yeah,
like, mine's like the straight up chub has just extended outwards. But
I don't think I have any clothes from middle school. I have clothes from high school that I still wear.
Oh, I have clothes from like beginning of high school, which I will like take as being end of middle school, and definitely don't fit into them suckers. I tried to put on a skirt that I knew that I wore in like 10th grade. Did not get that over them thighs.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're adult people now, so we should not be the same size. I am the same height and shoe size and opinions on love as I like, which is such a problem, I think. No, I thought was just super mature.
I thought I would be married and have I thought I'd be married, have a stable job, and be working towards my first kid when I was like 10. I was like, oh no, 20, 23, 24-year-old me, she's going to have a great job. She's going to be with her husband. They're going to be doing all this stuff. And now I'm like, oh, that was cute. That was funny. She watched way too many movies.
I literally always thought that I would have kids at 32. That's what I've decided from the time I was young. But Did
your mom have you at 32?
I think 33, something like that. But in my head, I was like, 32 is the time to have a baby. And so I got time on that, I guess. But by that deadline that was arbitrarily set by younger me. But I feel like I would have had some kind of established relationships at this point, as opposed to this like revolving door of hot mess that I keep doing. But whatevs.
I know. I definitely like it's funny to me the kind of pressure and the expectations I put on myself having had no experience at the time. Like when I
Yeah.
was in middle school and like early high school, I was like, "Oh no, she'll definitely be like in a serious relationship or married." And I'm like, "By what measure am I doing this because I've never had a boyfriend at
Yeah.
this time?"
Well, I had that one boyfriend in 8th grade.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, I technically dated a boy over the span of a weekend, but
oh, he got
we
you beat
won't
3 weeks. I also was
we won't count
I
that.
have gone steady with several men, but when you get to the DTR part, somebody flips out. Typically, it's been me historically. But this last time it wasn't me, so cool.
Kudos to you.
Yeah. So now I know how it feels, and it sucks. But whatevs. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know, honestly. I got real sidetracked. I'm talking about middle school me and just being like, wow, she was a dummy.
Okay, so middle school, the guy who I did not know I was going to talk about him this much, but hi me, my 8th grade boyfriend, my junior prom date, he's married. So
Oh, that's weird.
yeah, technically my only ex-boyfriend is married, so that's fun.
I will say I've never like had a technical like official defined relationship, but one of the people that I last like talked to and like hooked up with and all that stuff, they got engaged. And when I found out, I was talking about it with this group of people, and all of them were like, yeah, that's never happened to me. We're like, an ex has gotten engaged before I have, because they were all engaged themselves. And I was like, oh, cool. So no one knows how I feel right now, and I'm just gonna drink a lot of wine.
Oh, this is not the same at all, but this one guy I had a crush on from church camp, he got married.
The one that got away.
Yeah, he played baseball. And I knew him for a week, but he played the guitar and he played baseball, and I was like, probably in love. But he was blonde, so I don't know what I was doing with that.
You keep saying that as if I don't exist. But
I'm sorry. Usually,
you're like, oh, he was blonde, not my type. And I'm like,
well,
okay, cool.
Look, maybe I like blonde women.
Me and my people.
You're the exception to the rule. I like dark hair and I like beards, and he was a blonde boy with no beard, so I don't really know what I was doing there. Not on brand.
I also like dark hair, I will say.
Well, I have dark hair, so watch me marry a blonde guy with like a mustache.
I really hope you do. I hope you marry a short blonde guy with a mustache.
I don't want that. You know what though?
And
Okay.
he isn't Southern and he doesn't like trucks. And
I got feelings that I don't know if I want to share. As long as he has like a strong jawline, because I have a pretty weak jaw.
And you want your kids to have a chance.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's how I'm gonna pick my spouse in the future. Just pure genetic compatibility. We're going to have to figure out like if our immune systems are compatible. I'm just gonna build like genetically superior children by getting a guy who's got the opposite genes from me. That's my plan.
And okay.
So their immunity is gonna be like insane.
That was like a big thing. I remember when I was taking AP Bio all those many years ago, they were talking about like genetic super babies, because you know how there's so many genetic testing, genetic counseling, and you can like manipulate all these things. They're like, one day you're going to be able to have like a super baby and you're just going to be able to pick and choose the genes you want. And I was like, I feel like this could go down a very dangerous path. This could get very eugenics-y very fast.
Yeah, I'm not going to genetically alter the child. I'm just going to pick the mate.
And hope for the best.
Yeah, which could backfire, but I mean, maybe not. Oh, here's a segue. Are you ready? Did you know marriage was originally an economic situation just created for raising children?
I did know that a little bit because we both took classes on family and marriage in college.
We're nerds.
I feel like that's how all great opinions start is, I took a class on this once and I know a lot about it now.
I took one psychology of marriage class and I have not stopped talking about it for 3 years.
I haven't really talked about my sociology of the family class a lot, but I actually really liked it. I thought it was really interesting.
So would you like
I
to talk about it now?
Oh yes, please give me a platform to talk about this.
Yeah, tell me about this.
Um, okay, so I know a little bit about the evolution of family and marriage and stuff. In at least it's kind of U.S. slash the West specific, but that's what we're working with. Um, so the class that I took, it kind of talked about the history of the family and marriage, as well as convergence theory, which is basically like whenever an economic system expands through industrialization, change in the family will follow. So, it'll ideally suit the conditions of industrialization. Um, and so like as the US grew, we have people moving from farms to cities. The market economy is being based on merit rather than on family ties. And this kind of starts to emphasize personal achievement. And the family is no longer really an economic unit. And so this kind of all is leading to the family being based on companionship rather than, we have to do this for our family's economic success and survival and all that stuff. And eventually marriage just kind of became individualistic, meaning that postmodern family form became about personal fulfillment. And, I'm going to marry this person because I think they're rad and I want them to marry me and they're a great companion rather than being like, they're going to help my family survive the winter. And so I think it kind of caused like a demographic shift and it diversified what it means to be a family. And I just thought it was really cool. So there's the whole Sarah took a class once spiel that you're going to get.
I have some notes too, kind of very parallel to that, but this is kind of about the history of love when it comes to marriage. So, love and marriage are not the same thing. And in a lot of places in the world right now, they don't equate at all. It's still an economic arrangement. There's some countries where polygamy is like the move. There's some countries where arranged marriages are the thing to do. But again, this is we do live in the south of the United States, so we do have a very Western view and a usually religious view of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't really talking about religion. It wasn't a religious institution until much later on in the game where we decided to put some morals into this, like probably like the 20s. So I'll get into that real quick. In the 1600s was the first time where romantic love was introduced as an idea for marriage, because before that it was just like an economic thing where it's like, we're going to be a family unit, we need a man, we need a woman in order to have these kids, so let's do that. And if you want love, that's on the side. And that was cool, that was legit, that was fine. But by the 1690s it was kind of becoming a thing, but it was a problem because you can't be too in love with your spouse because it undermines husbandly authority. So like if you love your wife and like respect her as a person and like value her opinions, you can't exactly like, make her do slave
Tell her
labor.
what to do.
Like, yeah. It's a little bit difficult to like, treat her as a servant when you love her. Or I would hope so. People say they love people and still treat them like shit, so maybe you need to reevaluate, but that's another thing. So,
that's a whole other episode.
Yeah. So in the 1800s, so like this is a full 200 years after this got the ball rolling on love being a thing, married love was like it was gaining traction. People were like, I'm going to marry him because I love him. But what's more important than love? Money. Because women, still kind of objects. Where it was all about your dowry, man. You could love him, but if you didn't have a big enough dowry, sucks to suck. You need to marry someone at your station. Like, doesn't work. In the 19th century, their love grew as an idea, and this is a fun little side note. In the 19th century, honeymoons grew in popularity, and sometimes the brides got to bring their friends.
I really like that. I think that's so cute and fun. I would love to bring my friends on my honeymoon. Like, I'd like to be with my new husband, but at the same time, I'd want to be able to run off with my girls.
Separate rooms. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, we could just have a giant group vacation. He can bring his guys. I can bring my girls. Well, that's just a different thing. I don't know. I'm just going on another trip with the imaginary husband I don't have and all my friends, which would be fun. But I need that money again. Okay, so in the 20th century, love has become like the reason for marriage. Dating started to be a thing in the 1920s. You know why? Cars. because you could like take courting out of the house before. You'd have your suitor come in and you'd sit in the parlor and your mom would be in the next room and you couldn't really do anything.
I would hate that.
Oh, I would die. Yeah. So like after that you could like get in these sin wagons and go do whatever you want out in the world in your car.
That is the new name for my Prius, is Sin Wagon. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, people were like pissed about cars. They were like, it's causing people to have sex. And I'm like, maybe.
Thank God.
Yeah, so, okay, moving forward, in the 1960s, marriage was basically mandatory. I looked this up. I don't have a source for this. I don't remember where it was from, but the other day I looked this up because I was feeling sad, and I was like, what's the age for an old maid? Do you know what the age to be qualified as an old maid is? You're going to hate this.
Please tell me so I can get justifiably upset.
25.
No, we're so close.
I am, you know what? 6 months away from being an old maid.
You know what? I will revel in it. I will celebrate the fact that I'll be an old maid. I'm going to be a spinster, and I'm okay with it.
I'm glad you are, because, like, I don't love that.
I already know how to knit, so...
Yeah, you're leaning into it. I'm, like, leaning the opposite way. Like, hey. And I don't know why. I just don't like that as an idea.
You know what? I could just give me more inspiration for my bios later. I can be like, you know what? Technically, I'm classified as an old maid, so you better get on it.
Nothing to lose here.
Nothing to lose.
Okay, but fast forward. In the 1970s, social roles were changing. Being married was not as mandatory, and divorce skyrocketed. So basically, now in the present tense, we are past the 1970s, and like marriage is for love, and it's still, at the end of the day, it's a legal arrangement. So, side note, kids, if you present yourself as married for 7 years, you're married in the eyes of the state. And that's you.
Oh, that's common law marriage, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And that's dangerous. So, because you might have to accidentally get a divorce. So don't do that unless you want to. Here's another fun fact. This is info from a class I took in 2017. So I don't know if my stats are the same, but in the United States, less than 4% of people never marry. So if you want to get married, you can get married. Will it last? I don't know, but you can do it.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I never really wished to get married, but I feel like I would just for the benefits, if that makes any sense. Like, you get some protections under federal law, like Social Security survivors and spousal benefits and stuff. I don't know. I mean, do they get vision, dental? I would definitely marry if I got those things. Yeah. I need a dentist checkup. I need to get married.
Get a different job because I have dental and vision.
No, I just opted out because Actually,
I lied. I am offered dental. Sorry, I had a stroke. I'm offered dental, but I don't use it because it's more expensive.
It is. That's why I opted out, so I'd have more month to month because I don't like to think about the long term. But, you know.
Did we go over the average age of marriage?
I don't think we did.
Do you want to talk about the average age of marriage in the United States?
Hey, Claire, let's freaking do it.
Okay. Can you guess which state has the oldest average age for women who get, or like the oldest? Yeah.
I can't tell if it's going to be more of a stereotypically liberal place where people don't feel like they have to be married and they want to vacation and jobs and stuff first. Yeah. Or if it's going to be anywhere else. So you know what? New York, just because that's half the answer half the time.
Okay. So for men, it is New York, and for women, it's DC. And can you guess the state with the youngest average?
Is it in the Bible Belt?
No, it's not. We talked about this state in the last episode.
Utah.
It's Utah!
It's Utah!
The average... It's all them Mormons again. Except it's a higher average than I thought. Well, I guess it's the average and not the mean. Wait. What's the one? Is the mean the most occurring number? No, wait, that's mode. That's mode. Hi, I can't do math. We talked about this last time.
Mean, median, mode.
I play in events, okay? Yeah, so the mode would be younger, I would think. But the average in Utah is 23.8 for women and 25.9 for men.
Does it show you which one has the biggest gap between people and their average age?
Maybe, but I haven't looked at all the states. I've only looked
at the extremes.
Yeah, and then I looked at South Carolina. Do you want to know the average for South Carolina?
I do want to know the average for South Carolina.
The average age for women is 27.3, and the average age for men is 28.8. Which
I feel better about that.
Yeah, it's like in line with my kids at 32 plan.
Yeah, that's not bad. I will take it.
I'm 24 right now, and that gives me like 2.5 years
to find and marry.
Yeah, so
that's a lot of steps.
And I've been wasting so much time.
Wait, can you look at Pennsylvania's? Because that's where I'm moving. So I need to know the stats.
The women is an even 28. So you
okay.
Like
I got a little bit of time.
And the men's age is 29.7. So
okay.
They're a bit different.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better about myself because of the amount of engagement announcements we've had. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. We also run in a fairly church-going circle, which I think
contributes a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have we even discussed how we're about to both be bridesmaids coming up?
No, I don't think we have. And honestly, I'm pretty excited because I've never been one, and I am really invested for some reason in my brother and his fiance's relationship and their engagement. Just a fun little anecdote. I love my brother, and I have two of them, but yeah, I love him. And just the one, no. But he is engaged, and I love his fiance too. Like, I love both of them. I love them both together. They're a great couple. And I actually, a few weeks ago, I just out of the blue, I had this nightmare that they broke up for just unexplained reasons. Yeah, they just broke up, and he was just like, oh, I'm just not feeling it. Like, we're just gonna go our separate ways, and we're just not doing this anymore. Like, it's over. And I was like screaming at him in the dream, and I was like, what are you doing? You're ruining this for both of us. I love Kelsey. And I woke up, and I was just so fueled by anger, and I was so upset. And then at that moment, I was like, I think I'm a touch too involved and invested in this relationship. But, whatever. I told them, and they thought it was hilarious.
I was happy for them.
I know. I really want them to be together, and I'm excited to be her bridesmaid, so I'm excited for that.
Okay, side note, though, if you are having second thoughts about your wedding, don't get married. That's my advice.
Yeah. But don't go off of the dreams that your sister may have about your wedding.
Yeah. If your sister's having dreams about you not wanting to get married, that's different than you feeling like hesitant.
Trapped, yeah.
Here's the thing. It's your whole life, man. Nobody's forcing you to do it.
It is. It's the rest of your life.
If you're not, this is something that pisses me off. This is not about me being a bridesmaid, which we'll revisit. But when there's like this trope where like men are like, ugh, the old ball and chain. Or like I was at a wedding relatively recently, and all the speeches were like, haha, you're happy now, but just wait till you hate each other. And I'm like, if you shouldn't think like that. Like, if you don't like the person you're marrying, maybe don't.
That's so sad. Yeah.
That's like not funny to me. I think that's just tragic. And we live in a time where you don't have to do that, Like, nobody's making you. It's fine. Just don't get married to somebody who you're not gonna be cool with in 10 years. And like,
that reminds me of a story that my cousin, she got married kind of young. She was, I want to say 21, 22, but they've been married for a few years now, and she works as a nurse at a hospital. And she was saying, one of the times I was hanging out with her in the past couple of years, she was like, yeah, people always ask me about how I feel about my husband and, how our relationship's going. And she's like, well, we still love each other. We're still really happy. I don't know why you keep making it seem like that's not going to happen, but we only did this because we like each other. So
that's so healthy and good.
Yeah.
You should like the person you're married to. And if you don't marry them. That's the advice from the Lonely Sluts.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, bridesmaids. I'm going to be a bridesmaid in my best friend Tori's wedding coming up, and I'm really excited, but I'm in charge of planning all the bachelorette stuff, and I don't know what to do for that because nobody drinks but me, so we got to get creative. and I'm just not that.
Scavenger hunts.
Yeah, no, I'm planning a scavenger hunt for work right now, and I'm like, how can I take this and adapt this to be a bridesmaid scavenger hunt? And
Yeah, not the same for my brother and his fiance, but she doesn't want the only like bachelorette party I've been to was a very stereotypical, really fun, but very stereotypical like penis themed, like drinks, like going out
like,
one, and it was fun. But she was like, yeah, I don't want that. She's like, I don't want all the penis like straws and penis confetti and penis like hats and all this stuff.
Really
She's like, I don't. Yeah, she's like, I don't want all that stuff. She's like, I want to have a fun one, but I don't necessarily want dicks everywhere. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough.
I never want dicks everywhere in any kind. But I think if you have that, like perhaps at the house, if you have some dick decor, if you will. But going out into the world, like if you go out downtown or whatever, I don't want any jewelry.
Oh yeah, no. I think the bride to be just had like a sash being like bride to be, but in the house was all of the dick paraphernalia.
I found this on Etsy, and there you can send in a picture and they'll make a tattoo of whoever's face. And so I'm going to get tattoos of the groom's face, and I don't know if we're going to all put them on or if I'm just going to make Tori wear them, but I'm like so excited. I think it's going to be so
You can also actually get a snap filter as well. That's what one of the girls got for her as kind of like a gift, was she bought a snap filter for that like location for like 24 hours or 48 hours or however many, and it was actually really cool. So we had a snap filter with like her like info and stuff, and it was really nice.
That's a good idea. But yeah, I'm just gonna put Stu's face on everybody's face. We go out and everybody's gonna be like, who's that? And I'll be like, the groom. Another thing, everybody in this bachelorette party is gonna be in a committed relationship. One of them's gonna be already married, and then the other two bridesmaids are in like committed relationships for like long term. And then Tori's like, you know, engaged. And I'm just gonna be like, hey y'all, maybe I'll make some dick cookies and we'll do that.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be hard not drinking and also like not going out and not doing stuff.
It sounds like we have a problem though if it's gonna be hard. Like,
well, I just mean it's gonna be different. I should say it's gonna be different.
Be creative, because
it will be creative, because you can definitely 10,000% have fun without drinking and without like kissing strangers, but but it's just like, it's definitely going to be different than all of the other stereotypical bachelorette parties that we've heard about or gone to.
So updates to follow on how that goes. It should be fun and it'll be good, but I gotta get creative. Also, I gotta call her to talk about budgets and stuff and timeline, because I plan events like 6 months ahead for my job, and so I'm like, we're already behind schedule.
I know. If I was having a wedding, I would definitely want you to plan it, or like plan the events surrounding it.
Yeah, I don't want to plan a whole wedding.
The actual wedding, but when I was the fun parts.
I took a wedding planning class, and it made me decide that I don't want to plan weddings because there's too many feelings involved. It literally made me want to plan corporate events, which is what I do. Not like
that sounds so sad. It made me want to go corporate.
Well, I plan like fun stuff. I do like kids events right now, but like when I was in school, I took this wedding planning class, and like we had a really chill bride. We like planned a real wedding. We had a really chill bride, but like there's just too much emotion. Like people have so much wrapped up in their vision of their perfect day and like everything that goes into it. Whereas like corporate events, if you like screw up some decor, it's going to be like annoying, but no, it's not going to be anybody's wedding.
Yeah, no one's going to remember it like weeks down the line.
Yeah. They're not gonna be like, oh,
or like have photos of it in their home.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like the best day of your life. It's just like a conference, which is not what I'm doing now, but it's still a thought in my head. So
yeah, no. I like to think that I would be a low maintenance bride, but honestly, I've never been in that position. So who am I to say?
I think I would be understanding but specific. Does that make any sense? Like
for you that makes complete sense.
I will have done all the research. This is how I do I will have done all the research, and I will have all the vendors picked out, and I will have all the plans picked out. So I will have planned my wedding before I go to a coordinator or anything. So yeah,
no, the last wedding that I can remember going to, they basically kind of did everything on their own, but they did have to have, for the location that they chose to have the wedding and reception, they had to have, and it was in Charleston actually, they had to have an on-site day of planner.
Don't get married without a day of coordinator. You think
so they had a day of coordinator.
You can't.
And so that was like the one thing that they definitely needed, and they did. But
it's worth it. Says
the location wouldn't let you have it there without that. So I thought that was really interesting. But
yeah, you need a
so I would do that part.
That way you have at the wedding, somebody's like, all right, walk in the aisle now, cue. And then for real, it's important because otherwise you're just winging it. And then at the reception, you're like, okay, now we're going to do cake. Okay, now we're going to do the toast. Okay, now we're going to do the father-daughter dance. And otherwise everybody just be kind of chilling and be awkward to be prom. Nobody's sure when to do anything. Are we dancing? Are we going to eat? What do you want to do? Yeah, you need a coordinator. That's advice.
I think I would die if I've never even been to prom, but I would die if my wedding was like prom.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about prom too much already.
Living in the past. Classic Clara and Sarah.
The closest thing to a wedding that we've participated in was, you didn't even go to prom, so never mind.
I know, I didn't even go to, I will say the program that I was a part of, because I had my program that I actually went to, and then the base school that I was a part of that had all the typical stuff and the proms and all those things. But the program I was a part of for high school did winter galas, and I went to a couple of those. They were very small and okay. That's all they were.
I loved dances in middle school and high school because that's when everything happened and you got to dress up. And I think that's why I like going out now, because it could be a dance every night of your life if you want it to be.
If you so chose, you can make every night a middle school dance night.
That actually sounds terrible, but
that's called being an adult.
I opt to do that on a regular basis, but I don't wear the short shiny dresses anymore. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. The foxy lady, Dillards.
Yeah. Dillards is exactly what I'm talking about. What was it called? They're there was a name brand for the middle school dance dresses.
Oh, I don't even know.
Anyway, everybody knows what we mean. If you've ever been to middle school, you know. I think I stepped it up for my prom, and I think I'm gonna step it up if I ever get married. And if I don't,
I sure hope you step it up from your prom to your wedding, if you happen to have one.
Yeah, my junior prom dress was not flattering on me, but my senior prom dress
was banging.
Yeah.
Now, I will say my mom has told me on multiple occasions that she envisions me never getting married. She once said, I just think you're too independent. And I was I think that's a compliment and an insult a little bit. You think I can't compromise enough to be married to someone, but you also think I'm independent, so that's nice.
One time my mom told me I never had a boyfriend because I'm too difficult, and I think about that a lot.
That's the worst worded version of my mom saying. I think mine's you're too independent. She's you're difficult, Claire. You're freaking difficult, okay?
Again, from my mother. She says I'm intimidating.
Oh, that's true, though.
I don't know what to do about it, though. I'm a lot.
Oh, no, I don't think you should change anything about it. I just think that's a fact of your life.
Yeah, no, I was talking to my friend Tori again, the one who I'm a bridesmaid for. I don't even remember what the topic was, but we were oh yeah, that's a one notch too aggressive. And I was yeah, I as a person am one notch too aggressive. And I thought she was going to say something to be no, but she was yeah, that's true. And I was okay, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on for you. I get it.
I mean, it's accurate. I
honestly, I wouldn't even say that you're aggressive. You're just very straightforward. You're to the point. You're very decisive, and you don't like to mess around. And not everyone is like that. So when you come into their life, they're oh, she is a force to be reckoned with.
This is what
she just
freaking kills
says
me.
What she wants.
Yeah, nobody believes me. I literally tell in the past, in various. I'll use the word relationships, but not exclusive, just
situationships, if you will.
In comings and goings with gentlemen. I will say explicitly what I mean, and they do not believe me. Particularly in a couple cases where I've been hey, I don't want to date you, but I'm cool hanging out. They're like, I don't want to date you. This has happened like twice where they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I don't want to date you either. And they're like, I don't want to date you. I'm like, okay, then cool. Heard. Same. Are you listening to me? And then there was another situation where I was like, hey, I'm emotionally unavailable and I'm not interested. And he just didn't care.
Bulldozed right through that.
He was like, I'm in love. And I'm like, yeah, rough for you. That makes me sound like a total bitch. Maybe I am. Oh, well.
But I honestly don't, like, I don't think that you are. You're just
Thank
very...
you.
You're welcome. And hence we have the podcast together. You're just very straightforward. You're very upfront. And I think a lot of people either don't take it at face value or they think that you're not being sincere. You're like putting up this like cool girlfriend, but you're like, no, I seriously like this is what I want or this is what I don't want.
I've never
Can
been
you just
cool
tell me what
once
you
in
want?
my whole life.
Intentionally or otherwise.
Yeah. Cool girlfriend. That's crazy. I hope I've been fooling people. Oh, God.
It's like that whole Gone Girl thing where, you know, like the whole spiel she does about like the cool girl.
Cool girl. She eats wings, but she's beautiful.
Yeah. I think about that a lot. Everyone like hates that girl in Gone Girl, and I'm like, you know what? Kind of, I get it.
But you're not gonna like murder.
I'm not gonna
people,
murder
right?
anyone.
Cool.
I'm not gonna fake my own death, frame my husband, and then murder
Yeah.
someone. But like, I get it a little bit.
You understand where she's coming from.
Yeah, I can empathize.
Again, that goes back to the place where you don't marry someone you don't want to. Then you
Yeah,
don't
I feel
have
like
to fake your death.
Yeah, you don't have to fake your death if you don't end up marrying the guy that ends up being shitty.
Okay, so I think that's a great place to end this for this week.
Don't marry Ben Affleck if you don't want to.
Yeah, so we have 2 points from this podcast. The first one being, don't marry someone you don't want to, and then you don't have to fake your own death or anything. So just don't do it. And then the second point is get a day of coordinator if you're going to get married because it'll save your life.
Mm-hmm. I think those are 2 great pearls of wisdom we got going on there.
Yeah, we know some things. Okay, thanks for tuning in to our second episode of the Lonely Sluts podcast. Sarah, do you want to plug our stuff?
Oh, yeah. So if you have any comments or questions, or if you want to send us any stories or anything like that, our DMs are open on Twitter and Instagram at thelonelysluts. So just shoot us a message. We also have a Gmail, thelonelysluts@gmail.com, if you would like to send anything there. And we will keep you guys up to date on what we were doing on our social media. And yeah.
Thanks for listening, and we'll talk at you again later.
Bye. I hope not.